In today's video, we're going to be checking out the brand new Maison Asrar Thriller 3, or 3 Thriller. And this is in collaboration with Cologne. So this one's been blowing up, going viral, mostly on the TikTok side of things, but there's been some talk about it on YouTube as well. And so I figured I'd go ahead and do a review on this one, tell you how it smells, how it performs, and all of that good stuff. So I've got to say, Maison Asrar has been on a roll lately with a lot of their fragrance releases. They're a relatively newer cologne brand to the scene, but they've been pumping out some great stuff. Most notably, Vanguard is amazing. Also, Legacy. Really good too. Just great quality clones with great heavy presentation and just all around well blended high quality stuff. So this one was launched here recently, currently only available through Joma Shop, and that is where I got mine. They actually sent it over to me. They reached out and said, hey, do you have this yet? I said no. And then they sent it to me. So simple as that. So let's go ahead and start off with how this one smells. Now, when you first spray this on, you notice right away that this is a very woody and spicy kind of peppery scent. And this is something that's going against the grain compared to a lot of modern designer fragrance releases, right? You know, typically we're used to bubblegummy sweet or like blue fragrance oriented and even still aquatic style scents. This is something that is in the complete opposite direction. So off the top, you get hit with a ton of pepper and sweet woods, vanilla, amber. It gives it this kind of dry, woody sweetness, which is an interesting combination because, you know, sweet typically has kind of a full-bodied smell to it, but then you get this dryness from all of the woods going on in here. Getting a fair amount of leather as well, which is giving it a very masculine edge. Some incense is present as well, and you pick up on that pretty much at the start, and that's giving it, of course, a nice smoky kick as well. So we'll go ahead and look at the full note breakdown here. Up top, we have pepper. Black pepper, most likely, cardamom, bergamot, saffron, lemon, and elemi. In the mid, we have leather, tonka bean incense, labdanum, and clary sage. And in the base, we have sandalwood, vanilla, amber, cashmere, and benzoin, and musk. So a very full or complete looking note breakdown, which is nice to see. And that paints a really good picture of this one, in my opinion. I don't think they left anything out. I don't think they added anything that shouldn't have been in there. I think it's a pretty accurate representation of the scent and basically what you're getting. But what you'll notice is the opening, it starts off strong. You get the black pepper, you get the cardamom, it's warm, it's spicy. You get a little bit of a kind of a smoky incense as well, and some leather off the opening as well. So it starts off, you know, on the right foot here. It really gets into business. Just very strong, peppery, and head turning, and just kind of attention grabbing in that regard. But one thing that I like about this one in particular is that as it dries down, you start to get a more smooth, creamy sandalwood accord. And I love sandalwood. Big fan, typically because of situations like this where it's a nice, smooth, silky, creamy, woody smell that you don't get out of a cedar wood or a vetiver or anything else, really. You know, sandalwood, I think, in my opinion, can be pretty distinct. It also is kind of something where when it's used in this type of way, it stands out and it completely changes the character of a scent. And that's what you get here, mostly in the dry down. So if you find that maybe the opening is a bit too peppery, a bit too strong, sharp, smoky, whatever it might be, right? Wait until the mid and especially the dry down, because this does make a pretty big transformation from start to finish. When I first got this one in and I sprayed it, initially I wasn't the biggest fan, and it's because of that opening. It's just very peppery, very strong, and I don't have anything against strong peppery scents. I have several of them in my collection. They're just typically not something that I really gravitate towards unless it's something that I'm, you know, really a big fan of, and it's something that goes in passing like this one does. But when you're first trying it, you don't know what direction it's going to go. And so when it started off like that, initially, I was on the fence. But as it settled down, I started to come around and like it a little bit more just because of how much it does smooth out. And so that's something that maybe you'll experience as well. So typically when it comes down to what I'm reaching for, this type of thing isn't always at the top of my rotation, so to speak. I mean, typically when we're looking at fall and winter, I'm looking at gourmands. I'm looking at boozy scents, sometimes those can go hand in hand in the same category, I suppose. You know, I'm looking at my tobacco scents and my vanillas and stuff like that. This one, you know, again, does have some vanilla in here. It is woody, smoky. Not something that's always, you know, at the top of my rotation, so to speak. It kind of doesn't really fit in with what I usually wear. Again, it's not a bad scent by any means, but it's just not something that I feel as though I'm going to be reaching for as much in the cooler times of the year as I would some of my other stuff. It's just personal preference. And obviously spring and summer, not really the time that I'm going to be wearing this. I think most people probably wouldn't. I mean, you know, cold spring days, I guess you could, and it wouldn't be too much of a problem, but typically, as soon as we hit March, I'm looking at my green fragrances. I'm looking at my citrusy, fruity-based scents. Like, I'm getting into that mood, right? And this one wouldn't be conducive for that. Definitely more of a fall and winter scent for sure. So this one is an extrait concentration, which is pretty cool because like Vanguard and Legacy, for example, from the same brand are EDPs. So they really bumped it up with this one. Performance on my skin has been pretty solid. Longevity, going to be around that 8-9 hour mark for me. And that's, you know, relatively usable, meaning it's still perceivable, you know, to a pretty decent degree at that 8-9 hour mark. Like, it's not a completely dead, crushed skin scent by then. Projection, given the fact that it is an extrait, is not, you know, going to be a big distance room filler type of deal here. It's more close to the skin. However, I have found that it has left a nice heavy trail in passing as I move out and about. So performance is good overall, especially for the money here. You know, what you're paying for this one, it's not a lot. I think it's $45 on Joma Shop right now. So, you know, really not unreasonable for what you get, in my opinion. The quality is there. It's a really nice blend and good performance as well. So ultimately, it just simply comes down to who is this for, right? And that's something that I can't answer for you. Well, I guess I can answer that, but you have to decide if it is for you. So who is this for? Well, it's going to be for people who like woody, spicy scents. Again, starts off spicy. It does smooth out later on, but you know, that's something that you would have to get past, and either you like that part or you don't like that part. And so also going to be for somebody who does want to go against the grain. Again, like I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, the thing that I do like and respect about this is it's not a bubblegummy scent, a blue scent, an aquatic scent, you know, a chestnut-based, stronger with you type of smell or anything like that. You know, it's not a modern, you know, sweet conglomerate that we are very much accustomed to, especially in 2025, 2026. I mean, it's just been an ongoing thing. And so, you know, that's why this one would be appealing to those who want to stand out from that crowd, which there are a ton of fragrances in that whole conglomerate that, you know, people are probably tired of. So that's my thoughts on Thriller 3. This is the new Maison Asrar. I've got it linked down below to Joma Shop if you'd like to pick one up for yourself or not. You can also let me know down in the comments, have you tried this one yet? Do you plan on it? What do you think of it? I'd love to know. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.